Now, the other essential that you need besides Visual Studio is an Azure account. Now, luckily, Microsoft does have a free account if you're just getting started. I believe it's azure.microsoft.com/free. If you go to that URL, you'll be presented with an offer that's going to give you 12 months of free services. Now, in the first month, within the first 30 days, you're going to get a credit that might be around $200 that you can actually fire up virtual machines, start up databases, and use storage space that does cost money, but within the first 30 days only, you get up to $200 credit. After the 30 days, there are 12 months worth of free services. And we can see as we scroll down here which products are free for 12 months. We do have a Linux virtual machine. 750 hours is equivalent to 1 month. So every month you will get 1 month worth of Linux virtual machine and 1 month of Windows virtual machine. So that's 2 small virtual machines that are at your disposal per month for the first 12 months. You'll also get a certain amount of storage space, SQL databases, file storage, blob storage, Cosmos DB, and some networking bandwidth. And that should be enough for you to learn Microsoft Azure and play around with it. Certainly enough to go through this course and get certified. So you do need an Azure account. Now you might have a corporate account, or if you have an MSDN subscription, you might have some free credits through MSDN. There's about 7 or 8 different ways to get free credits. I'm not going to go through them right now, but free account is the first start. And certainly, now I have what's called a pay-as-you-go account, which means as I'm encountering costs, and you can see I encountered $50 in the past, basically within the past week or so. As I encounter costs, I basically pay for them. Now, let's talk about what's really great about cloud computing then. So we know how to get an account, but the great thing about cloud computing is all of the services that are available for you to spin up as a service. Now, you might have heard of software as a service. Azure and AWS and other places now are popularizing infrastructure as a service. That is, if you need a Windows server, you can within about 5 minutes have a Windows server up and running, or a Linux server. If you need a complete database, within minutes you can have that running, and there are literally 1,000+ options for services like this. Okay, we can talk about storage accounts and basically unlimited storage. If you ever run out of disk space in your local environment, even on your servers, Microsoft Azure has unlimited storage, and they basically charge you pennies per gigabyte. We've got platform as a service is the other option besides infrastructure, where basically Microsoft is providing some underlying code, some underlying function, and all you need to do is configure it. So a web app, you upload some code, you upload a configuration file, and Azure will run that. You don't need to have a server for that, for instance. And if you look down this list, there are just so many different categories of options, even some advanced stuff like AI, machine learning, cognitive services, Internet of Things, devices, and things like that. So the great thing about cloud computing, and certainly Microsoft Azure is one of the leaders in this space, is all of the services that you can rent. The other advantage, of course, is you're paying for it by the minute. So if you need a server, but you only need a server for a couple of hours, that might only cost you a few cents. And there's just no equivalent to that. If you're running your stuff on the premises, you can't just borrow a machine for a couple of hours unless you have machines lying around. But being able to fire up 1, 10, 100, or 1,000 machines for a short, medium, or long term without any upfront costs is one of the great advantages of cloud computing. So sign up for that account, go to portal.azure.com/free, and then you're going to basically get a free account that you can play around with, and within the first 30 days have some pretty powerful features at your disposal. And even after that, for the next 11 months, get at least 1 free server in Windows and 1 free server within Linux. And so you have a couple of options for learning beyond the 30 days.